We are here for MLB action today. There's also an NBA stream going on right now, so if you're there, you're in the wrong spot. But if you're looking for baseball, you are in the best place in the entire internet right now with me, Chris Bags, joined by my old pal, the baseball savant himself, Jake Hari. How you doing, Jake?
Doing well. It's good to see you again, and I'm pretty pumped for this show. I'm just glad that baseball's back. So, wouldn't want to spend it with anyone besides you and Josh, of course. So I'm just ready for it to be back.
Yeah, we are here, and this is Jake and my first show in a while. We haven't been, because of our separate sports. Jake has been doing NHL, I've been doing NBA, so now coming back together for the first time. We're on Skype, which is another throwback to old school Awesemo, but we're here. And Jake's beautiful brain, who's going to give us all the things we need to know about baseball, is also here. So that's the most important part. You know what? I didn't do a Thrive prop today. Well, we are presented by Thrive Fantasy, and they are the premier DFS app for prop bets of only top tier athletes. Of course, the way that goes is the more props you make, the more contrarian options you pick in your props, the more value there is there. So go check it out now. I'll drop a link in the chat if you want to go check out Thrive. We're not in full Thrive season yet for MLB, but if you click that link, you get $5 just for signing up. You don't have to do anything. Just go sign up. Use the promo code AWESEMOLBL. There's a link in the chat. Go check it out. Get $5 free. Do some prop bets, which we don't have. Unless you have one handy, Jake. I don't think you do either.
I don't, but we just need to find a prop on Thrive.
I can do it on. You want to talk and fill the air for a second? I'll pull one up on Thrive.
Yeah, sure.
I got some Friday show.
Yeah, no worries. We'll get that fired up in just a second. So yeah, this slate, I kind of like it. The one thing I don't like about it is the weather in Philadelphia. It looks like we're gonna have.
Wait, I got a Thrive tangent for you.
Oh yeah, let's go.
So the weather in Philadelphia a concern, but Andrew McCutchen is going to be playing for the Phillies if the weather does go off there. He's got an over-under of 0.5 hits, so Andrew McCutchen just has to get you one hit. Going against your boy Jake Odorizzi, who looked really good his first start.
Yeah, he did.
Would you go over-under for McCutchen here with 0.5 hits? On the over, you get 90 points. On the under, you get 110.
You get 90 on the over, 110 on the under. Is that what you said?
Yep, you got it.
Yeah. I think I'd probably go over batting leadoff. Wait, does he have to get it off Odorizzi?
Not necessarily. Just has to be off
just has
somebody.
to get any hit. Yeah, I mean, he's probably going to
Yeah.
I mean, I would think he would get 4 at bats, very minimum, probably 5 though. Yeah, I'd give him a hit for sure. What about you?
Yeah, so I think Odorizzi is actually a pretty interesting start today, but the total does support going over here, and he is the leadoff hitter, so I would also take the over. I feel like for a leadoff hitter, 0.5 hits is an over-under. I feel like I'd be more inclined to take the over as long as the guy is vaguely competent. McCutchen is more than vaguely competent, so I would take the over as well.
Yeah, I agree.
So go check that out on Thrive now. Click that link, get your $5 free. Do that now. All right, Jake, go ahead. So tell us about the weather in this game. I know the boss man was in the chat for the deeper dive before us, talking about how he's not as concerned about the weather, perhaps the radar looking positive, but what are you seeing now?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't looked too much at the radar. I've just seen in chat people are concerned. But Alex, I didn't see Alex saying that he wasn't that worried about the weather. So that makes me feel a little bit better. And it looks like in our projections, and Alex plays a big role in those. Those are derived from his and the rankings. I think he still has Pivetta up there as one of his top options. So that's making me feel a little bit better just in the last couple minutes because I really want to play Pivetta here. I think he could mow down this Twins lineup. So I think the low ownership as well, you're probably going to get lower than what we project on him, especially at the lower stakes because people are worried about the weather. So even better for Pivetta. I really like him in this spot, and he's just underpriced. So he's not going to have no ownership or anything like that because he's not a $7,700 pitcher. But if the weather is even close to being okay here, I'm going to play a bunch of him.
Yeah, to be clear, I don't want to misquote Alex. I'm paraphrasing to the extreme here.
Sure.
But I think he did say that he was finding the radar to be positive. So it's not a full cosign by the boss man, but it did seem like a positive thought. So you're not supporting the Minnesota Jakes going against Pivetta, even though Pivetta's a very chalky play. You don't want a little leverage against that with very low-owned Twins?
I just think Pivetta should be higher than, what do we have him at, 30% or so? I think he should be higher than this at 7,700. And a lot of that probably has to do with the weather. So, if we get the okay from your favorite DFS weatherman, or if Alex says it's okay and we're good to go, then maybe he'll get a little bit chalkier. I just think he's just like $1,000 to $2,000 underpriced here, and I'll just take advantage of that and spend up for some bats. I like some of these Red Sox that are super expensive, and expensive bats elsewhere.
Anything else weather-wise you're worried about besides this game?
Nope, just some cool weather. That's all. Nothing crazy.
Nice day of lineups too. Everybody got their lineups out early, except for those slacker Rangers who are behind now. But everybody's lineups are in except for the Rangers right now.
Yeah, that's all good. We'll get the Rangers here, I'm sure.
That.
Did you see the Reds? The Reds got their lineup in like literally 8 hours before the game.
Wow. Do you think they had some rule changes with this? Because I don't remember it being this timely across the board last season.
So the thing was, I know that they, I can't remember. It was like they made it so the teams had to submit their lineups, and now Vegas gets them first. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it. I'm obviously very uneducated on this, but that was the only thing I can think of. Like, I just noticed all the lineups are coming out super early, at least to start the season. I hope it keeps up.
Yeah, it's interesting that they are, and I definitely appreciate that as a content creator who we have to go live. And the less chaos, the better, especially compared to the NBA right now. And I don't know if the NHL is the same way, but it is just asinine in the NBA today, the amount of things going on and people coming out and going in. And
yeah, I definitely don't envy the NBA guys for that reason. We're still getting some. We have some late changes and stuff for NHL every once in a while, and it's the end of the season for them too. So there's always like stars sitting out, but yeah, it sounds like the NBA is just pretty hellish right now as far as late news.
Yeah, not the best time of year for that, but let's talk more about the slate overall. We got 8 games to go through. We're not going to go game by game, obviously, because that's what the deeper dive does really well every single day. Mm-hmm. But which pitchers are you landing the most on? Obviously, Pivetta is going to be a guy you like a lot. I think Odorizzi is interesting on the other side, though I didn't quite get there in my lineups today at any volume. Pretty big Vegas total for the Phillies, but Odorizzi did look good in that start where I definitely gave it some thought about going to him. What other pitchers are you getting the most?
McHugh, he's my second highest owned right now, assuming I just go full blast here on Pivetta, and then Thornton is also the other guy. So I'm kind of unintentionally underweight on Bieber. I think that Bieber is a perfectly fine play. The problem is he's just going to be super chalky, it looks like, and maybe even more chalky, again, depending on the weather for Pivetta. And then everyone else is kind of just spread out below like 10%, like Gray and Woodruff and Felix Pena and Godley and Musgrove. I just have kind of one-off shares of those guys. Although I think I'm going to get a little bit more Musgrove probably on my next crunch.
Yeah, Musgrove, not bad. I'm surprised you didn't mention one guy who the deeper dive guys brought up, and not to keep citing them, but they do a great job, and they've been helping me get into the MLB mindset a little more because Jake and I were talking about before we came on the air. It's hard doing 2 sports. Not as I don't know how the guys who run this company play 2 sports all the time every day, but it really makes my brain hurt, and it's hard to keep tabs on everything. So the deeper dive guys do a great job. They pointed out Pablo Lopez, who was pretty filthy in his first start, some changes to his pitch types. Overall, his numbers really jump off, and obviously a very, very small sample size, but swinging strike rate through the roof, chase percentage also through the roof. I think Atlanta's an interesting stack, and I had a lot of them yesterday, which didn't go terribly well. It was fine. Markakis was very helpful. Besides that, they didn't do great. Pablo Lopez, though, pretty interesting to me at under 5% ownership.
No, that makes sense. He might be a guy that I get a little bit more of as the show goes on, as to start running more crunches. But yeah, I mean, first of all, I don't think there's any problem in citing the deeper dive guys. Those guys are awesome. So I always refer to them. Like, they're incredible at what they do, especially when it comes to pitching. So I'm sure I'll refer to them a bunch of times. But like Lopez, I did see his last start. He had a 45% chase rate and then an 18% swinging strike rate. So it's just one start. Yep. You can't just overreact. But the reason I'm not getting to him is because I just have the Braves as a super, super tough matchup. So that's the only thing. Like, low ownership, if you think he's super talented, and he probably is pretty talented, just based on what he's done in a short time in the majors, then yeah, you could take some shots on him at 6,600. Is there like a super chalky option in this range that you'd be using him as a pivot?
So I think there may be some more on Thornton than we're currently projecting, because we don't have him over 10% right now. And I think people are going to see that start that he had, and he's going to jump out. For me, like in my stats, I have everything color-coded, and he's all green for everything, but you look at it, it wasn't the most impressive start overall. He wasn't missing bats. Like, it wasn't a bad start, but he wasn't getting chases. He wasn't getting a ton of swinging strikes. And he's at a reasonable price. So I think people may be a little bit more over what our ownership projections are for Trent Thornton. And if that's the case, I'd rather have Lopez, I think, personally. Like, it's a better, well, is it a better Vegas total? It's a better Vegas total for Thornton, but not by that much, right. Where if Lopez does well, he's going to, like, the Braves are going to underperform regardless.
I agree. I think, let's see, I'm just going to look if we have an ownership update recently, because I think Thornton's going to come up a bit. We don't have
I've heard him touted a lot today. I think he was even on DK's like alert where they're like, play Trent Thornton. Guy's the greatest value around.
Yeah.
All right, DK.
I
trust you.
I think Thornton's a great value. The 8% or whatever we had him projected for in the last update kind of jumped off the page to me. So, I'm well over that. And I probably still will be, even if he's like 15 to 20%. I think that's a little bit more realistic. So we'll see when ownership updates. But yeah, it looks like a good spot for Thornton. But if Lopez is going to be under 5%, like there's always merit in pivoting when you've got two talented guys, and it's one just got a little bit worse of a matchup. Like, it's baseball, so playing the ownership game, especially early in the season, I think is always a decent way to go. At least there's always some logic to it.
Yeah, and to go back though, because I think that's going straight to the bargain bin. I think Musgrove is actually a pretty good play. Mm-hmm. Nice run total for the Reds, or going against the Reds. And Musgrove, he's just a steady guy. He's been looking good this year. He looked good last year. I mean, not going to wow you with his upside. His strikeout number is not the best, but he's a guy who I feel like people never go to, and I think he's just reliable in that mid-range. And I feel like on this slate, I'm not sold on Shane Bieber, and I guess you might be a little more so. So give me your thoughts on Bieber and why you would trust him if he's going to be one of the chalkier pitchers on the slate.
Yeah, I mean, he's okay. I think right now I'm ending up underweight on him. By a pretty good margin. Actually, I had him around 15%, and it looks like he's going to be, I think, over double that, actually. But anyways, like, the strikeouts are going to be there for him. The question is, can he keep the power down? Like, one of my favorite metrics is hard contact, and he gave up, I think, almost 50% to lefties last season. There's not a ton of lefties in this lineup you're that worried about, but like McKinney and Rowdy Tellez, I think, are two targets I would play against Bieber in your non-Bieber lineups if you're going that route. So I don't know. I don't think it's like that easy of a matchup. It just seems perfect that Toronto, after disappointing everyone for the first week, would go off against the chalk pitcher, right?
That's what I was thinking the other day too with Trevor Bauer. Was I was like, oh, it'd be funny if like that's what happens today.
Yeah.
They got to him with walks, which is something, but not with any actual contact. Also surprised they didn't keep Bauer in for the no-hitter. I know he was at 115 pitches or whatever, but let a guy get a no-hitter. I don't support that. Drive your pitcher's arm to the ground for the sake of meaningless accolades.
Yeah.
But it is funny, though. Yeah, you're right. Like, how much we've turned as a people on Toronto after they were bad to start the year with some nice totals, and now they're under one of the lower totals on the slate. I think tied for the lowest on the slate.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Just
hard to argue, but go ahead.
Just taking advantage of like recency bias early in the season, like people overreact. Teams that are hot right now will end up being some of the worst teams in the league, and vice versa. So, people love playing the Cubs and the Red Sox and the Yankees, and look how that's turned out so far. So just take advantage of the ownership game. I think, especially early, everyone thinks they know everything, and then MLB DFS usually humbles people pretty quickly.
That's a good point. Yeah, I would say too. I think actually you summed it up perfectly. I'm getting some talk in the chat about Rick Porcello, who I think is a guy to stack against today. Mm-hmm. He might be due for some positive regression, but tough start for this Red Sox pitching staff overall to start the year. I think I have more Diamondback stacks. I have no Porcello. I have a couple Diamondback stacks. I think the order there, the top of the order in particular, is pretty interesting. Not much ownership for anybody outside of Eduardo Escobar projected. Are you getting to any Porcello, or are you going against him?
I'm not getting Porcello. Is it Porcello or Porcello? Whatever.
I don't know.
I'm not getting much
I'll
of him.
Flip it up every time. To see what's on our
teams. I'm also not playing a ton of hitters against him, so it's just kind of an avoid all the way around for me. I can see playing like Peralta, and I don't really like playing Dyson, but Escobar and Peralta, I guess, would be the two main targets. Like I have some Peralta, but that's more like one-off and mini stack stuff. So I'm not really full-on stacking against Porcello. He's just kind of good enough, I think, to not get blown up. But for me, at 9,100, he is super overpriced compared to some of these other pitchers on the slate. So $1,400 less for Pivetta. Like I'll take that every day.
Yeah, I think that seems fair. And yeah, I would agree with you too. I just don't see it for Porcello at that price. Porcello. I don't see it for you at that price range. So that's sort of how I would go with it. Yeah. Anyone else pitching wise you'd want to hit on? Oh, I guess let's close the McHugh loop because we talked about him before we came on the air. I'm going very heavy on Colin McHugh. I think on a slate like this where people are going to go Bieber, the run total does support going Bieber, but I have some concerns. I mean, they didn't even expect him to be a starter right now. They already need him to be a fifth starter. They're trying to save his arm for a little bit more down the year. I think he's a perfectly fine pitcher, but he does give up that hard contact, as Jake mentioned. Not a lot of lefties who are going to bring out that bad side as much, but I just think it's enough reason where maybe if he gives you 5 good innings, that's great. But McHugh seems like he's a little more capable of going deep, even though he's also coming off of relief stints. And I like what I'm seeing from McHugh. I don't know. Like I'm more comfortable with him than I am with Bieber for whatever reason, especially at less ownership.
Yeah, I think they're similar plays, but yeah, just the ownership. Like I'll just play the ownership game with those two. McHugh, just some absurd strikeout numbers if you look at last season, and a lot of that's in relief. So you can't, those are of course going to come down if he starts the full season or even part of the season. But he's definitely got the strikeout stuff. He's incredible versus righties, and I don't expect him to go super deep here. But the strikeout upside, I think, is huge in even like 5 or 5 1/3 innings or something like that. So, and big favorite. So I think there's a chance at the win, of course.
Yep. All right. That works. I thought I was getting a question on the premium Slack, but instead just getting tagged in a basketball link on the. Never mind. All right. What about stacks? Where do you get in stack wise? Because we got to get our home run picks, and we are doing home run picks again today. Yesterday we did not go off, and it's upsetting because the days in which I was correct, they did not go out on Twitter. And then the day that I knew the second it was out on Twitter, I was like, it's not going to happen today.
Yeah. I've yet to get one yet. So I started slow last year. You guys started without me. So that's all right. I'll battle back again this season. Oh, we just got ownership.
Jake was the co-first place finisher with me last year. If you were not a regular Awesemo live stream watcher, we both finished first with the same amount of picks and the same amount of correct picks, and also the same amount of double dongs and triple dongs and all of that. So a tough one to pull out of the lead with, but we will hit that shortly. What stacks are you getting the most so far though today?
Boston and Texas, assuming they roll out their usual-ish lineup. Really like lefties against Felix Pena, and it looks like there's going to be a bunch of them. So, and lefties with big power too. Like, I mean, Odor maybe not big power, but definitely has power. Chu has power. About Mazzara, and then Gallo, of course, just swinging for the fences every time. Even Ronald Guzman we saw last night. Go yard. As Dribble Cabrera, whatever you think of him, but another lefty bat. I think it's a pretty tough spot for Pena. And Boston, it's more like when Godley's even a little bit off. If he's a little bit off in this matchup, I think he could get shellacked here pretty good. And I always like to play Boston when they're a low total, or teams that are, I think, just high upside teams in general. When they have these lowish totals, I'm really, really in on that.
Yeah, so I see that too, and I went there as well with a couple lineups, and I think the thing to me was I saw that yesterday it didn't go there, and I ended up with more Harvey than I did Texas stacks, which obviously not a great move, and as again, as a deeper dive, boy, the deeper dive getting the most shout outs. They did a great job today, but they mentioned they had talked about the Texas stack, and I guess some people had won big in part because of their article or the video, and Texas was very not popular yesterday because everybody was on Matt Harvey. And I worry a little bit it's a point chase here with Felix Pena. I mean, grades out very similarly to Harvey, but he could just not have that bad of a day. And I feel like maybe Texas, we don't have a ton of ownership on Texas right now, and it's not a great total. But I feel like the ownership may be higher because of people point chasing that big day. Yeah. I don't know if that's the right approach, but I think it does give me a little bit of pause about loading up too much on Texas.
Speaking of Texas, we just got their lineup. I will load that into my stuff, and then I'll start running some crunches, just like Josh. So maybe next time we'll get the screen
Anything weird? Oh, so Mazzara back in the lineup today. That seems like a one noteworthy thing.
It is the exact same as the projected lineup I had, so and that most people have. So yeah, we should be good to go there. And then we just got ownership. So if you're a premium member, download the ownership or check it out. Make sure nothing's really changed, or take notice of the things that did change, I suppose. I'm not saying.
And if you're not a premium member, use that promo code live before lock. Get half off your first month on any package. If you want to get an MLB package, you do that. Obviously, you get half off that. If you want to do an all sport package, you could also keep doing basketball and hockey with me and Jake. And those are still available for you as well. Through the playoffs, we'll still have rankings and premium content all throughout that. So go use that now. Promo code live before lock. Let's see the ownership update.
Such a seamless transition on your part there. You're a pro.
You know what? I think we're reaching the 10,000 hours point hosting these.
Yeah.
So that's all Malcolm Gladwell says we need. Anything?
Just a quick 10,000.
Yeah, that's no big deal. That's putting it in 1 6-day week at a time. Let's go. All right, let me just make sure I'm putting ownership in as well into my sheet just so I have everybody right. One weird thing with baseball too, we don't have the issue that we have in NBA where you have to cut out everybody who has a junior or like the third name. And in baseball, sometimes they cut out the junior and sometimes they don't.
Yeah, Acuna is killing me. Between FC, Fangraphs, and other sites, it's like some have Acuna, comma, junior, period. Some have Acuna, junior, period. It's just, some just have Ronald Acuna. So he's killing me, but there's less of that. There's a ton of that in hockey too. So that gets a little.
I think Fangraphs actually last year was a straight Ronald Acuna, and then this year they're Ronald Acuna Jr. with no comma, which I guess maybe he petitioned and was like, "I'm a junior, man. I demand my dad demands the respect."
Yeah, and I'm not super Excel savvy, so it gets tough when I try to make my own stuff. VLOOKUPs get a little bit annoying every once in a while. I know the match index is the way to go, but I have not yet mastered that. I'm pretty stubborn here with the VLOOKUPs.
Oh, I had a fun basketball where a Mavericks player, if anybody follows basketball enough, it's not going to matter if you don't. Ryan Broekhoff, who's like a third string at best, fourth string maybe shooting guard for the Mavs. I realized I had my formula pasted incorrectly for just him out of everybody in my projections. Oh, no. So I was like, why is Ryan Broekhoff projecting for 45 fantasy points today? And he's supposed to play 30 minutes, so that's why. But Ryan Broekhoff, if he gets 45 fantasy points today, I should probably go back to the other format.
Yeah, I've never even heard of that guy, so.
Yeah, no, he's nobody. He is the generic white stiff who can shoot some threes, but that's about it. Let's see what stack. All right, so what stacks am I on the most? I have some Brewers. I think the Brewers are an interesting stack. I'm never a big Jose Quintana guy. Mm-hmm. I think being in the Milwaukee Park is a decent benefit for them as well. I love that stack as well. And similar to what you mentioned with Texas, they are a high upside lineup. And they really only have one guy who's going to have a lot of ownership. Lorenzo Cain going to be 20% on DraftKings. Everybody else significantly lower owned. Yeah. So they interest me quite a bit, and I think they work well too with different positions. And Mustaskis being a second baseman now, I feel like is also an asset because I do like him and his upside, and that works well for DraftKings. How about you with Milwaukee? Any thoughts on them or the Cubs?
No, I swear I stacked Milwaukee against Quintana like 10 times last season, and it never, ever, ever, ever worked. That will not keep me from doing it this time, though. I just think he's not that great against righties. And they just, look at these righties they have in their lineup. Like Braun, maybe he's at the downslope of his career. He probably is, but he still crushes lefties. Kane crushes lefties. He's cheap. And then Aguilar, I really, really love. I even like Hernan Perez. And then, even these lefties are tough. Moustakas and Yelich, just one of the best hitters in all of the league. So I think Quintana's going to have a tough time with this team. So hoping I can finally get the Brewers right. Seems like I never got him right last season.
I think one of the only tournaments I finished in the top 5 last year, which MLB was like a sport that I had followed, but I hadn't played serious DFS until last year. I think the best lineup I had actually probably all year was with the Brewers. So I'm more the other side where I'm like, Brewers are great. I love them whenever they're at home. A lot of power, especially. I also think their pitching sucks enough this year, and I wrote about this in my preview for Osmo.com of the NL Central, but their pitching staff got worse, and their ace is Julie Chassin, and he's certainly not an ace. So I think they're going to have a lot of high-scoring games throughout the year, and a matchup with the Cubs could be one where I think you see both sides put up some runs.
Yeah. What do you think of Woodruff? Just full disclosure, I haven't done a deep dive or anything on this guy, and I didn't catch what the deeper dives guys said about him. I just know that they weren't really crazy about him. Do you have any interest there?
So he's given up a ton of hard contact so far this year. He's given up 63% hard contact. Now, obviously, very limited sample size. But I think on this slate, again, like I had my guys who I went with more so just because, not enough prep time. Woodruff, I didn't see the value in going to a lot. It's 20% owned and projects really poorly in our projections at Osmo.com. So I don't find the need to go there.
Okay.
And yeah, so like I didn't get there. And the Cubs lineup too, like it worked out yesterday for Max Fried, who's a legitimately good pitcher, I think, and proved that he's a legitimately good pitcher. I don't think Brandon Woodruff is a legitimately good pitcher by any stretch.
Yeah, I think that's probably one where I'd probably just go to Lopez, and I'm not really getting a ton of either one of them. So, yeah, in that range, like let's see what I got. Just Thornton, really. So I'm either getting up to like a Musgrove or I don't know. I don't know about Pena. I don't think I'm going to end up there, even though he was kind of one of my guys last year. But yeah, kind of paying up for pitching. I think the bats aren't too difficult to get to. Pay up and then get like your Thornton or someone like that. Looks like that's going to be the strategy for me.
Yeah, that's what I went to. Was I went with a lot of McHugh, a lot of Pablo Lopez. Those are my two guys, and I have some Thornton in there as well. I just kind of like Lopez a little bit more, even though that might not be a lot. Actually, how do we don't have Lopez projected terribly well. How do we have Thornton projected? Where are you at, Thornton?
Just on the Osmo.com projections.
Yeah. So we do have Pablo projected slightly better than Thornton, so that makes me feel a little better too.
Interesting. Yeah.
Literally 0.1 points better for Pablo Lopez, but again, just looking at what they actually did so far this year and what they've done historically, I would prefer to go to Pablo. And Thornton still not bad, but I think it's a much more limited sample size.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. It looks like, I think if you refresh again, it looks like Thornton is a little bit lower than Lopez. We've got Lopez at 13.2 on DK.
Oh, so he's going up even better then.
Yeah. So maybe
the last update I had was 12.8. So
yeah. So I use
the public back in my Pablo Lopez pick.
Well, more importantly, the person who's making those projections is backing you. So
true. I would have thought it was just the Vegas total moving.
That could be it. Just more win equity.
Yeah,
that could be it.
I think so. Unless like Alex is tweaking in the background or Tom or whoever is doing it, and they're just like, "Oh, Chris is really high on Pablo Lopez. Yeah, let's give him 0.5 more." That's certainly how our product works.
Yeah, or maybe just bumped him up another third of an inning or something.
Yeah. That sure could be that too. Let's do our home run picks. We are at the halfway point of the show, and you're back doing home run picks again. So it's your moment. I'll let you go first, even though, as you mentioned, you have not gotten one yet in your 2 attempts. Josh has 1 out of 5. I have 2 out of 4. And EMAC, who I'll be on with live before lock tomorrow, 1 for 1. So EMAC, the leader in the clubhouse by percentage, if nothing else.
Yeah, definitely running away with it from a percentage standpoint. I will take all right, one of my highest exposed hitters. I'll take Michael Brantley.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
4,200 batting cleanup against Montas, who I absolutely hate. That's gonna be it.
The lefty matchup too, also better versus Montas, so I do support that overall. All right, I'm trying to think if I should take the asshole pick who's due for some regression. You know what? I'll do it. Christian Walker, step on up.
Whoa.
You are. He projects really well for me. His home run rate's been pretty beastly, and I think Porcello is going to start the year slow. So I'll go with Christian Walker.
Okay. I was thinking you were going to take a Blue Jay. I'm talking about regression. That would have been pretty badass.
Rowdy Tellez not far behind him on my home run model.
Yeah. He was one that I was looking at for sure. Like, I think that's a really, really fun leverage play is Tellez. So.
Yeah, he was my guy. He's one of my correct picks on the year. On the Tuesday show, it looks like I got him right. And he bailed me out with a 9th inning home run, which didn't matter at all to the game. He still lost 2-1, but felt really good. But no, I'll go. His home run rate also pretty unsustainable. He's right now got an 8.6% home run rate, which will drop significantly. And
yeah, for sure. He was a catcher last year, was he not? Am I just dreaming that? He was a catcher when he came up.
Was he? I know Jansen was the catcher down in the end. I don't remember Tellez being a catcher.
I was just searching for my catchers on my last crunch, and I was like, why do I have 0% of this guy? But no, he's a first baseman.
Yeah. So whatever. Rowdy Tellez is a big beefy boy. He could certainly be a catcher if he so chose.
Mm-hmm. That's very true.
Our guy Bathrobe DFS, who does a great job on Reddit every day. If you're on Reddit r/DFS Sports, go check him out. He does a really hard working job every day, putting in the elbow grease for NBA and MLB and I think pretty much every sport that guy does.
Just like Josh
had Tell as his one-off in his analysis today. So
nice.
There you go.
Nice.
TP asking, hey Chris, would Sonny Gray be a good pitching pivot on DK? Assuming nobody's on him after that first outing in Cincinnati, I can say I never find Sonny Gray to be a great pivot at any time. I think he's a terrible pitcher, but doesn't give up a ton of home runs, so that's positive, I guess. And this Pittsburgh lineup certainly not offering a ton, but I have more Pirates than I do. I don't have much Pirates. I have a good amount of Cervelli, I guess, in some stacks, but I have no Sonny Gray. What about you, Jake?
Yeah, I was getting to a little bit of Sonny Gray, like 5%, but I'm also getting to more Pirates, so more like 10% Pirates stacks. So yeah, definitely side with the Pirates. I mean, if I'm getting to Sonny Gray, it's just a product of uniques or something like that, like just as a guy to get away from like Thornton. So I still think Gray has talent. I know there's still a lot of believers in him. So he could turn around here. I agree. I don't think it's that scary of a Pittsburgh lineup. Low total against him, cold weather. Like, he's got some things going his way. It's just whether or not he can get out of his head.
Yeah, that seems fair. I think there are certainly merits. Like, I don't think he's going to blow you up today, which I think is what you're really hoping for out of Sonny Gray. So I really have no issue with it. But yeah, not a guy I got to. So sorry, TP. Can't fully co-sign on it. But perfectly fine, I think.
Yeah.
Killer Koala. My home run pick is anyone against Gray. That's
anyone
fair.
against Gray.
Yeah, he is under league average significantly for home runs. Like it's 2.9 still, right? I think for overall home run percentage.
Oh, you're asking the wrong guy. I'm very rusty on all that right now.
I think last year it was 2.99, I believe, is what the league average was, but that might have changed a little. And Sonny Gray closer to 2. So he is actually, that is one thing he is good at. He gives up everything else, tons of walks, tons of hits, but not a ton of home runs.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. What else? What else stack-wise? Any low-owned stacks that you're seeing that you're trying to get to more, or that perhaps the public isn't on?
So we talked about Boston, Texas, Pittsburgh. We just mentioned them. Do you know off the top of your head how chalky Houston's going to be? I would assume pretty chalky at a 4.8 implied total.
Houston, the highest owned guy is Bregman on DK at 20%. Okay. Everybody else under 15. It looks like. Oh no. Oh, that's not yeah, 15 is the max, and then Altuve is 16. So okay. Whatever.
That's not terrible. Yeah, I mean, I like Houston, so I'm not expecting them to be like super sneaky or anything like that. There was one other one that was coming up a little bit for me. I think it's more of a product of price. Just I liked some of these Miami bats actually. So I'm just trusting the projections kind of on that one. Just super cheap, and they allow me to get like a Bieber Pivetta combo. They're going to be low owned. You're playing 2 chalk pitchers. You kind of got to get a little bit different with the rest of your lineup construction if you want to fit in like a Mookie Betts or a Bregman or someone like that. So just super low owned. I like Gausman. I think he's good. Just overpriced here. So yeah, that's kind of my only one that I think is a little bit off the rails.
Yeah, I'm trying to think I'm looking through now to see what ones are actually lower owned than. Oakland seems pretty low owned, but I didn't get there. I didn't get to Miami. I get it going against Gausman, though. He is a guy who's I would say he's pretty boomer bust in general, so I certainly don't have an issue with that. Cleveland I didn't get to. Toronto I didn't get to. Yeah, for me it's Arizona, I guess. Arizona's the only lower owned one that I'm at. Highest owned guys there are Peralta and Escobar at 15 and 14, but I have the 1 through 5, and certainly Christian Walker, my donk pick, would be a highlight of that. A capper who I'm sure will hit a grand slam to make me all the money. But he is just 5% owned, so people banking on some positive or some negative regression for him, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
Houston, though, due for positive regression. So they're one stack who I feel like, I think you're right in that if they're not super chalky, and right now they're not super chalky, they have a couple guys who are higher owned, but the overall stack not terribly chalky. I think, trying to catch their bounce back day, I would have Houston, honestly, in my lineups, like at least 1 or 2 stacks every day if I were playing, I play 20 every day. If you're doing more than that, I would certainly have even a little bit more. But I think just riding them until they go off, like they're very talented, and every hitter on that lineup is pretty good for the most part, and they're cold to start the year, so you'll get their bounce back day soon.
For sure.
Anyone else locking Godley? No.
Whoa. I don't know if that's necessary.
In fact, we debated why he was the pick for the thumbnail, which neither Jake nor I do. The thumbnail for this video is Godley, and no, thank you.
Yeah, I just don't think it's necessary tonight. There's just other options. And I'm the biggest Godley guy ever, but no, against Boston, I think this is a very much a potential blow up spot. So, give me the Boston side of that one.
Sean V, our guy, pointing out in the YouTube chat, Houston was always worse hitting at home though last year. Yeah, and Minute Maid Park is not the greatest hitting park in the world, but I think for that I would ride with the Vegas totals more often than not, and the Vegas total is there. They do have the highest total on the slate, so I don't know. I don't care about the home run split as much as I care about the Vegas numbers.
And the simplest form for the Houston stack for me is the ownership is okay, and they're going up against a pitcher that's going to let them put the ball in play, and they've got 6 or 7 really good hitters that are going to be able to put the ball in play. So I'll take my chances there.
Yep, I think that seems about right to me. Greek Inc. in the premium Slack asking for thoughts on Thornton on FanDuel. We talked about him up front, in particular for cash. Jake, are you playing FanDuel? I'm not playing FanDuel.
I'm not playing FanDuel. What's he priced at?
It's a good question. We'll find out. We'll find out for Greek Inc. Greek Inc. is a regular, and of course, if you are a premium member, you do get VIP treatment like us looking up Trenton Thornton, this asshole.
That's right.
Thornton is 7,400 on FanDuel, so a little bit more for cash. It's just a one pitcher site, so I don't know that I would want to go to Thornton for cash.
If I'm playing cash on FanDuel, I don't know. I mean, I'm probably just throwing in Bieber, right? He's going to be the chalk guy. I'm assuming he's priced okay over there. If he's 11K, then we're talking about a different story, but it would probably be Bieber.
He's 8,900, so he's reasonable.
Yeah.
Cheaper
Bieber
than
and
Pivetta, actually.
I think is where you go for FanDuel cash.
Yeah, so on FanDuel, Bieber's 8,900, Pivetta's 9,100, McHugh is 8,600. I think given all those prices, honestly, I might pay up for Pivetta. But I think Bieber is also fine. I don't think I would pay down for Gausman.
Yeah.
Gausman's 7,200, and he's going to be the second highest owned pitcher on FanDuel.
Sure.
Which, yeah.
Second highest owned?
Yeah, so,
I'd take Pivetta over him.
Yeah, I think if they were me, Greek Inc., I think I would pay up for Pivetta personally, but I could also see going with Bieber and the ownership because he is going to be the highest owned. So I just think Bieber has a little more risk than it seems like people seem to think he does.
Yeah, I definitely think there is quite a bit of risk there with Bieber. So playing really chalk Bieber definitely got upside, as does Pivetta. I'll take my chances, though, with Pivetta at a cheaper price on DK especially.
Getting some questions about the weather in the Philly game again. I guess, Jake, do you want to take us any updates on where you're seeing things or viewing things shaking out?
I have not looked, but I'm seeing everything. I haven't seen anything that's going to change my mind. So as of now, I'm playing it. Something would really have to change in the last, 20 minutes, 30 minutes to lock. So I think I'm just going to play it. It sounds like there's going to be a chance for them to get it in at some point.
Okay. It seems fair to me. I don't have a ton of exposure to anything really in that game because I didn't go Pavetta's way today as I'm Team McHugh fully through. But yeah, I think I do have some stacks of Philly's side because I think Odorizzi away from home, that is one home road split, which I do think is noteworthy. So I didn't mind going to some Phillies there, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm not getting to Odorizzi, actually. They pulled the tarp off the field in Philly. Nice. And then Sergei Bobrovsky's starting, so hockey note there. I think we knew that one. Maybe not. Actually, no, Raj. I said Korpisalo on the show, so good catch there.
All right, so there we go. Oh, there we go. Home run picks are out, so that means Christian Walker will now not be hitting a home run. That's unfortunate, just how it's got to go. But I hope I'm right. I hope this is right, and Mike, it's gonna be your fucking home run on the public tweet. But hopefully one of these pays off today for the home run picks.
They will.
See, Any good questions here? I have a lot of. Oh, we just talked about the weather update. A lot of questions about the Philly game.
Yeah,
Pavetta's the ninth highest priced pitcher on Yahoo. That's wrong.
Outrageous. Yeah.
Yeah, that's no respect for Pavetta. That's surprising.
Yeah, what's going on? This guy, I mean, he's really good. I mean, he'll have his 4 blow-up starts this season where he'll just give up 3 home runs and stuff. And that could come here. But, yeah, I'm glad there's a rain risk. You're already taking a risk by playing GPPs, right? So what's a little added risk at a guy that's underpriced?
Yeah, that's why, like, I think we talked about this on the show, but that's why I am only playing the quarters in baseball right now while still doing NBA and still doing all that, because now's the time to experiment, get a little weird with it.
For sure.
And then we'll figure it out later. But yeah, I'm riding with everything. What else have we not hit on? Anything else, Jake, that you're finding in your crunches or your research thus far, which you feel like maybe people are missing?
I don't think anybody's missing anything. I don't know. I feel like so just full disclosure, I'm playing Pavetta. I have 66% of him. So I'm playing Pavetta in a big way, kind of doubling the field is what it looks like I'm going to decide on. Yeah, I mean, McHugh, 56% right now. So these numbers might jump a little bit up or a little bit down as I kind of filter out the lineups that I actually want. But yeah, those are kind of my 2 highest exposed guys. Thornton after that. Then it's a mishmash of Bieber, Gray, some Pena, Lopez, Woodruff, like all those guys below 10, like I said. And then stacks, once I put my correct caps on there, nothing's really changed. Houston, Texas, Boston, all in the top 3. And then after that, it's Pitt, Milwaukee, like I said, Miami, which is a little bit weird, but I'm just kind of trusting it and hoping they can do a little bit of damage, and the rest of my lineups are going to look really good with them, even if it's like a 4-man stack or a 3-man stack.
Ooh, okay. And I just made a really great NBA lineup while you were talking.
Did you?
So I feel good. I did a single entry today because like I knew it wasn't going to be possible to actually get anything out there with all the news and stuff. But you guys made me really jealous.
Ownership update, Makad says. Was there just one now?
Let me see.
I didn't get the.
I was checked the site notifications on our Slack.
There was. Okay, let me fix that, and I will.
Oh boy, a lot of updates. A lot of updates to NBA rankings. So the NBA rankings are working hard today, if nothing else.
All right, I'll go one more upload. Let's see if anything changed. 1 minute ago.
Oh, it's the Knights. Oh no, you know what? It's main and night. Yep, so everything got updated.
Gaussman, wow, he's gone up, right? He's at 23% now. What was he at before?
Oof. He was at. No, he was at 23 before too.
Was he? Okay.
Yeah, at least the most recent one before that. Yeah.
Okay.
There was one update right before we came on, I think, or while we were starting.
Bregman McHugh is dropping for some reason.
Oh, is that because I touted him now?
He dropped 1%. He dropped 1%. So I don't know. I think under 20 for McHugh is a really good spot when you've got Bieber.
People trust my takes on Pablo Lopez more than they do on on McHugh. Is he even Colin? I don't even know his first name.
Yeah, it's Colin McHugh.
Okay, good. Thank God. I said that with no confidence. Colin McHugh? Okay.
So Woodruff up at, or I guess dropped to 17. Wow, I didn't realize he was that owned either. Yeah, nothing too crazy that I'm seeing in the ownership update. So you'd probably be okay not, if you have a spreadsheet or something, you'd probably be okay not like using the last update. I don't think there's any major changes, but I'm going to do it because I want the most accurate numbers, of course.
I would agree with you. You got that's one of the privileges of being an Osmo.com premium member is you get the most updated information at all times. Even the umpires, they factor into the rankings. You know that, Jake? That was in our ads I used to have on Facebook. Osmo even factors in the umpires, which he does as part of the Vegas total.
I mean, I guess he just does it all. So
he does do it all. That is one thing our boss man does do well. Which team who you think is going to be highly owned, or pitcher, I guess, if you want to do that, which one do you think is the least likely to come through?
Least likely to come through for the high owned, something high owned?
Let's say that.
It looks like Man, what's Quintana's ownership? Oh, he's only at 6. Wow, I thought he was higher.
Oh, so he's actually came down a little.
For
no,
me,
he's still at 6. So that's...
I think it's Gaussman. Honestly, 23% owned. I don't have any of him as of now. He might sneak in a couple lineups when I do my final crunch, but I just don't see it as being a huge upside spot. So I'm just getting all my exposure in that range to Bieber or dropping, or Bieber, McHugh, or dropping all the way down to Pivetta.
Yeah, Gaussman to me seems like we have him projected pretty well today. So I'm going to go against Bieber, even though Bieber does project better. This is the stance I'm taking with my lineup, so I'll go Bieber. Well, we both did pitchers. So let's just do a stack then. Which stack do you think is going to be underperforming relative to the field?
Let's see here. Who do you have as like the chalky stacks? Do you have stack ownership in front of you? I know Josh does that. Let's see if I can pull this.
I don't have combined numbers.
Just like
let me see.
Team ownership, it looks like Houston's going to be up there, Texas, Boston, Arizona, Philly. Maybe Philly. I don't know if I want to pick on Odorizzi at this point. And you've got the added maybe a delay. I don't know, even though I'm not really that worried about it. But I'm not getting to much Philadelphia at all. So I guess I'll take Philly there.
Yeah, Philly does seem pretty fair. Has Texas gone up? I should have actually put in the update. Well, whatever. Texas not super highly owned, but I'm going to say Texas just because I think people are going to go there more than at least the most recent update we had. And even in the most recent update, we had guys 14, 16%. So I think that one's going to pick up a little more as people get closer to lock. So I would go Texas being my underperforming stack. Sure. I think that's a fair choice.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh, Sean V loves that low Quintana ownership. Oh, Sean V. always on the other side.
Yeah, he loves it.
Here's a question. Best catcher on the slate. It is not a great catcher slate, and as many of them have not been thus far.
Best catcher on the slate. Cervelli. There you have it. Cervelli against Sonny Gray. Who do you have?
Yeah, I have the most Cervelli, I think, overall. I mean, definitely excluding stacks. He's at a pretty reasonable price, and I don't hate that. And I think he actually might be our top projected catcher, too. Wait, is he? Yeah, I think he is. It's really not a well-projected slate at catcher at all. It's either got to be him or Contreras, it looks like. And I would take Cervelli and a little bit more ownership.
Yeah, I don't mind that at all.
Cubs changed up their rotation just for Quintana to pitch in Miller Park tonight. Okay. I don't know.
Does he have good numbers? I mean, Madden gets all this credit for being like a analytics guy or something, or he used to. He's not very smart with his lineup. I don't know if he buys into those narratives or what, but that could be the case. So
he's just like, this guy Sean V told me that.
Yeah.
that he's really great at Miller Park. I think it's time to ride with him. I don't know that I'm buying quite as much into Quintana, but look, if you support it, Sean V, I say the same thing to him as I would say to anybody. If you see an angle that you really want to take, we could certainly try to talk you out of it, or may try to with certain things. And like BVP, we don't necessarily support quite as much, but there are times in which you will find those moments. It was the same thing with revenge narratives in the NBA. If people are watching this, played that with Mario Hezonja was going against his former team in the Magic, and obviously we say a lot about revenge games don't exist, but that equation changes when the guy is being given unlimited minutes and free reign to get revenge. That does make things a little bit different. So I would say it's a similar situation perhaps with Quintana just wanting to show off at Old Miller Park. Guy loves beer.
yeah, that's it. That's got to be it.
Holy shit, Spag's dog moved. It's not stuffed. No, she moves off. Come here, Cal. No, she's.
Has your dog been laying there the whole time?
Yeah, she does. She always takes my spot whenever I get up. It's usually where I do my work.
That's
pretty
cool.
Cal. Come here, baby. There we go. It's the final 8 minutes of the stream, so might as well. Got any takes?
Very obedient, yeah.
Come here, baby. All right, hold on.
All right, we're gonna do a Spags dog stream.
Yeah, here we go. It's a Friday show. Here we go. Let's get the dog. Here's Callie. Oh, she just moved the mic. So
It's all good. We can still hear you.
there we go. All right. Any thoughts? Colin McHugh looks like a very strong play.
That's very profound there by your dog. I definitely sign off
She's
on that.
big on XFIP especially.
Okay.
That's the key.
Is she a BVP truther?
So, yeah, she's like, Jose Quintana is going to have a big day at Miller Park. He always pitches well there.
Oh, okay. Well, there you have it.
All right, Cal, you tired of sitting? She's sitting really weirdly like an adorable child, which I appreciate, but there we go. All right, girl.
Here's a question that we could both talk about. Maybe both give our preferences. How much is too much to leave on the table in MLB?
I mean, that can vary. I think on a bigger slate, I probably wouldn't go over 1,000, but on a smaller slate, I think you could be a little more fungible with that.
Yeah. I think for me, like on a slate like this, probably around 1,000, I think is okay. Just a different way to get lineup differentiation rather than making bad plays or uncorrelated plays. So I think about 1,000 on an 8-game slate is okay. Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. But I don't set a cap. I just let Cruncher do what it does and make correlated lineups and follow the rules that I give it.
Yeah, I think that seems like a pretty fair approach. I in general, I do set a minimum amount on most times on Cruncher when I'm just kind of making my first lineups. And I generally for NBA, I'm at the 500 range, and for MLB, I would say 1,000 because I think that's pretty safe. And yeah, and as I said, I think the smaller slates you could be a little bit weirder because sometimes that bottom of the order is what helps, and that won't often get you enough salary in there.
Right. I don't want to have like 3 guys that are 7, 8, 9 hitters, or I don't want to have like 6, 8, 9 as part of my stack, like because then it's just deceiving when it looks like I have 20% Red Sox stacks or something, but it's like, okay, you're playing Jackie Bradley Jr., who's not a bad play, but like you're playing Jackie Bradley Jr. Who else? Like Swihart and Brock Holt. That's not why you play the Boston stack. You play the Boston stack to play Betts and JD and Moreland, Benintendi, those kind of guys.
Question from XXX Achilles XXX in the premium Slack. Would you go Betts or Trout for more raw points?
Betts or Trout? Let me check what I've got here. Let me find these games quick. Who do you have while I try to find this?
I have more Betts today. It's hard to ever really argue against Trout in one of these either or type situations, right. But oh my God, the Cowboys are signing DeMarcus Lawrence to $100 million deal. That's what we're doing. God damn it.
I have Betts higher for what it's worth, but I have a bunch of both guys. They're gonna be one-offs. They're gonna be used in mini stacks. So not a huge preference, but I actually do have Betts a little bit higher.
So I would share that then. I would also be team Betts there. Let's see what we got in YouTube. Philly update. One last Philly update for you. Anything change with that?
Nothing's changed for me that I've seen. So I am playing Pivetta, hoping it clears up just in time for people to not get on him as much as they should be. Looks like they pulled the tarp off, logical. And that's, I guess, a good start. So.
All right. What other? I think we had an either or in the YouTube chat that I just missed. Yeah, hit that like button. Somebody, thank you, Tamar Green in the YouTube chat. But yeah, hit the like button. We're here. It's Friday afternoon. Got a dog. We did all the things the internet wants. So go give us a like right now.
Yeah. Likes are appreciated as always.
Captain Jenks asking the YouTube chat for DK Turney. Would you go Odor and Boer or Moose and Guzman or Guzman?
Odor and Boer or Moose and Guzman. Odor and Boer.
I would also go Odor and Boer. Yeah. I think. Yeah. The Guzman part is really the one I'm not getting to as much, but yeah, I think that's just a little bit better overall. Anyone like the Pirates bats? I don't mind the Pirates bats, but like might be a strong word.
I've got a bunch of Pirates bats, so yeah, I like them a lot. I think I like the full stack against Gray. He's a guy who is prone to blow up starts, but in his good starts, he's really good. At least historically. Not saying that's going to happen here. He certainly could have a middle of the pack start where both sides are probably okay, but I really like attacking Gray with either the full stack or just playing a little bit of him, and I'm doing both.
All right. I think that checks out for me too. Any other questions? Let's see. Baez a good pivot for I don't know who, but is Baez a good play overall in general today?
Javi?
I guess. I think he's always a good play.
Yeah, he's always a fine play. I don't really have much of him at all, actually. Wait, let's see. Yeah, he's not one of my highest exposed shortstops. I've got like 5% of him, maybe even less once this gets done.
Yeah, I don't see any reason to be afraid of Brandon Woodruff in any way, but I didn't get there to him. I do think it's a pretty crappy shortstop slate, though, in general, so I don't mind going to a guy like Baez, who at least is a little more proven production, and you're going to expect something to get some stolen bases, maybe. I think there's some upside for him.
I've just got Bogarts ahead of everyone, basically, as far as exposure. Same thing with Correa. I've got him up there, and Elvis Andrus, too.
For a cheap FanDuel filler on the premium Slack, would you go McKinney, Morales, or Winker?
McKinney, Morales, or Winker. I think I'd go McKinney. I like that leverage off of Bieber. If you're not playing Bieber in that lineup if he was an option, or I don't think he would be, but yeah, I like McKinney there.
Where's McKinney hitting in the order?
He's third.
Wait, is McKinney
Smoke?
Oh,
Smoke
okay, that's right. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I think I'd go McKinney then. That's high enough up there, and I think you're right. There's a chance that he could be the guy who hits the home run off of Bieber that inevitably will come. Somebody will hit a home run off Bieber. I think there's always a decent chance of that.
Do we have 705 lockers at 710? I got to see how quickly I need to get these lineups in.
I would assume 705. Let's see. I'll check on DraftKings now.
I can never remember. It's switched every single day.
Yeah, it's been moving around a lot. A little bit of a moving target. Yeah, 405 or 705.
705? Okay. 705 Eastern. So, yeah. All right.
Yes.
605
for me,
time.
405 for the rest of the people who are watching this probably. And not you.
No, I'm a Central Time. So.
Yeah, you're the weird duck. I guess actually most of our employees technically are Central Time.
Yeah. The bosses are Central Time, so come on.
They're the ones that matter.
All right. Here's the final pitcher breakdown for me as far as exposure. Pivetta 71%, McHugh 51%, Thornton 38%, Bieber 11%, and then it's Musgrove, Gray, Woodruff, Porcello, Godley, Lopez, and Lance Lynn share. I got one. Yikes. Anyways, those guys are all under 10%.
Ooh, yeah. Lance Lynn. I'm not trying to get any part of the Texas Tommy John recovery team. I don't think the idea that they have 3 guys who are coming back from that injury and they have to space them out just seems like a bad roster construction situation.
Yeah. I think Lance Lynn is horrible. So I'm glad he only came up in 1. I should probably just remove that one. But whatever, I got to get lineups in, so who cares?
Yeah, I think. Here we go. Eric Gonzalez or JT Riddle for 3,500 on DK. Oof.
I think I like Riddle better there.
Yeah, that seems fair. I was gonna look up projections, but honestly, that one I don't even think it's worth looking up. I think Riddle's probably a fine enough play. Gonzalez doesn't offer much.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't think Riddle offers that much either, but
Sure, also true. He's been a part of one good Miami stack I had once. I remember him being like good one time, and I remember thinking like the Riddler coming through. So that's
JT Riddle, nice.
Like giving my guy silly nicknames, so it feels like we're bonding. Socrates Brito. Wow, if Bieber fails here, that's amazing. If Bieber fails here, it would not be surprising, given that that's just what Shane Bieber does. Whenever the world wants him, he's not going to be there.
Is that right?
I feel like he's failed quite a bit as chalk, at least if I'm remembering correctly. At least 1 or 2 noteworthy times I remember him failing as chalk.
Oh, okay. I didn't... Actually, one time, I think maybe last year against the White Sox, I want to say.
Yes, that's why I think that's definitely what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, maybe we were on the show, and I was probably really high on him. So maybe I just haven't gotten over that, and I'm just soured on Bieber. But
yeah, I think I remember that too, and I think that informed my process with Bieber, which is that he's very much capable of great stuff, and but I think when him not being expected to start kind of gave me some pause about him not being fully stretched out, and And he will blow up when he's chalk. So, or at least he did one time. So, I mean, he either do it every time or he did it that one time. We'll find out.
Right, and he's going to be highly owned, and I think there are plays that are similar to better than him that are cheaper or right around his price in McHugh and Pivetta.
Yeah, that's my stance. Any questions left? Let's see. YouTube chat. Angels are horrible. They have not been good. I will agree with that.
Burrito's my Toronto burn money lineup. Interesting. Some people just play this for fun, man.
Yeah, look, I mean, for baseball, it's like a sport where I don't care that much about being profitable, at least right now, because I'm only playing quarters and stuff. But it's really more of a sport to stretch your brain out, I think, for the most part, where there's a lot of numbers, a lot of data to weed through, and a lot of construction things which you have to be pretty adherent to. So I think it's more like taking the LSAT or something than it is like for me, like NBA or NFL, where it's like, ooh, like I get to hit buttons. For baseball, it's like, all right, how is this one going to correlate and blah blah blah.
Yeah, I just correlate is number one thing, I think. Stack, correlate, same thing.
Yeah, the thing I did too much last year was just always skipping over a guy in the stack too much. Like sometimes I would skip one guy then skip another guy, and you just can't do that. Just for the most part, trust the 1 through 5s, or not 1 through 5, but like 5 guys in a row, or 4 guys in a row.
Right. Just make it easier on yourself and stack always.
Yep, I agree. Playing Thornton and cash on DK is going to be fun. Yeah, that may be a bit of an adventure for anybody doing that.
I don't know that it's going to be an event. I think he's a fine play. DK Cash, I'm assuming. Just cheap. SP2 guy. You probably got Bieber or McHugh or someone in there with him. I don't think that's bad.
Oh, this one may be a little late, but we'll say it anyway. Swanson or Polanco for 3,900 at shortstop.
Swanson or Polanco? Jorge Polanco? I probably would have gone Polanco there. I think we're locked, though.
Yeah. I didn't mind Swanson. I did have him almost come up in one of my stacks, but again, because I did make a couple hedge stacks against Pablo, just in case Pablo Lopez does Pablo Lopez things.
Sure.
I did want to put Swanson in there, but then I'd forgotten that I already had my 5, so I didn't get to him. But he's been hitting really well to start the year, if nothing else, and he is a guy people forget about. I feel like him and Culberson are 2 guys on the Braves who can have monster days out of nowhere, and people often don't stack them.
Yeah, Culberson.
I don't know if Culberson is he still on the Braves? I don't even know.
Man, that's a good question. Charlie Culberson. Him and Swanson look exactly alike. Isn't that the thing? They look just like the exact same.
Oh, do they? I don't want to be racist against white baseball players.
I think you're good there. I think you're probably covered.
They're an aggrieved group who I don't want to see them be. Oh, the Phillies tweeted, "Let's play ball." So I would assume they're not doing that and being jerks.
Yeah, those marginalized millionaire baseball players, I'm sure.
Bieber or McHugh? A question for me. That is McHugh. Firmly McHugh.
Bieber or McHugh? That's McHugh for me as well. All right, let's see. Let's see if we can make something happen.
Yeah,
let's
do it.
Off the Bieber train.
We are team not Bieber, so we are not believers today. But if he goes off, I just remember that we said that he's also good.
Yeah, just remember everything good that we said. Disregard anything that we are wrong about, and then just tweet us screenshots, and we'll give
you. If McHugh gives you a -5 and Bieber gives you 30, just let's pretend this didn't happen. Let's go back to NBA.
Yeah, that's how you're supposed to do this, right?
Yeah, I think that's what touting is.
Yeah,
for the most part.
Exactly.
All right, I think we got everything. I'm just making sure we didn't miss any questions here down the stretch because I don't want to. Oh, Bregman or Bryant? One more.
Bregman or Bryant? I will take Bregman.
I'll also take Bregman. Again, I think the Astros are due for a bounce back. So yeah, I would go Bregman. All right, are you on anything this weekend, Jake?
I'm on the Live Before Lock / strategy show on Sunday with EMAC Sunday morning. I am also on. We're doing a hockey show tomorrow. I think it's the last day of the regular season. Huge slate, so I'll probably do one tomorrow afternoon around 1 Eastern or so, maybe in between 12 Eastern and 1 Eastern, somewhere around there. And we'll talk some hockey.
Sweet. So check out Jake on those for some hockey and baseball. I will also we'll be sharing EMAC custody this weekend because I'll be doing the Live Before Lock show tomorrow with EMAC at 6 p.m. Eastern time. I presume, unless it's some weird time. I hope not. But so I'll be here on the afternoon on the West Coast doing that. And otherwise, we'll be back next week with more Live Before Lock stuff. So hit that like button on the way out. Use that promo code Live Before Lock if you want to get half off any monthly membership at Osmo.com. Any sport, any package, get half off, including ones with Fantasy Cruncher. Get half off your first month. We do have a lot of night slate content. There's going to be some night slate for MLB. So if you get burned by a Bieber, then you can. What was his fucking movie? What was Justin Bieber's movie, Jake? I'm sure this is something you know.
How would I know this? No, I don't. I have no clue.
I feel like it's never something again. Anyway, I was gonna do a joke about it, but I don't remember what the movie
Never Say Never
was. Well, no, it was like something again. I might be thinking of James Bond.
Same guy, yeah, Bieber, James Bond.
Two similar guys, but yeah, no, whatever. Just play the night slate. Use the promo code Live Before Lock to get half off everything. Like the video on the way out. We'll be back for more content. I'll be back tomorrow. Jake will be back tomorrow, so we'll see you guys then. But enjoy your weekend if you're not coming back, and good luck.